Shooting. Medic tells us the shooting happened on LaSalle Street overnight. That's just north of Uptown. It's not clear this morning if police have a suspect in custody. We'll keep you updated as we learn more.
Well, new this morning, take a look at this. Charlotte fire crew staying busy overnight after an industrial building caught fire in North Charlotte. You can see those flames and the smoke shooting out from that building. This is on Lakeview Road near Harris Boulevard. 30 firefighters responded to this scene. It took them about 20 minutes to get that fire under control. Crews tell us thankfully there were no injuries and the cause is under investigation this morning.
Good Thursday morning. Later today, city leaders will get a chance to hear from those folks who want to replace Tariq Bakari in that District 6 council seat. That forum takes place at 2 o'clock today, where council members will have a chance to listen to those candidates. And then on June the 2nd, they plan to have someone appointed to fulfill the rest of Bakari's term.
Today, the PGA Championship officially getting underway at Quail Hollow. Some of the best in golf are all here in Charlotte, with the first group to tee off in just a few minutes. For everything you need to know before heading out, check out the full PGA guide in the WCNC Charlotte News app. Destiny Rich is going to be live there over on WCNC Plus with a look at what to expect coming up in just a few minutes, again over on WCNC Plus.
All right, want to tell you about our last accident that's just now popping up. I actually have a picture of what's going on. It's right by the stadium, west of Moorhead Street between I-77 and Mint Street. Traffic is still able to move through. It's just moving slowly. Chris.
Well, it's a lot warmer. Check this out. This is a little bit more June-like. Close to 90 degrees on Friday. That could be our first 90-degree high for the year. Certainly our warmest day of the year. And then after that, the mid-80s, feeling humid. Much better chance for rain in the middle of next week.
All right. A reminder, the news doesn't end here. We're live all day with breaking news, weather, and traffic.
Join us on WCNC Plus. That starts in just 3 minutes. WCNC Plus. We'll see you there.
Streaming live right now at 7 a.m. here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. A live look at the Queen City this morning. You can see the rain is finally moving out of here. And now meteorologist Chris Mulcahy says we should be preparing for the heat.
Yes, so we immediately changed our script over for wow, look at all this rain to wow, this is the hottest day of the year. And I know it's only May, but this could be our first 90-degree temperature of the year, which, by the way, May 20th is our average first 90 high for Charlotte. So we're pretty close on brand if we do hit it on this coming Friday tomorrow. 68 degrees right now for Charlotte, 67 in Monroe, 66 in Charlotte. Oftentimes it's a little bit cooler southeast of us because it's a little bit more valley driven, which cools down quicker. 61 degrees right around Hickory, and then 63 for you in Morganton. That's our starting point as our first putt, our first drives of the day officially start here at Quail Hollow. By the way, the first tee time is set for 7 o'clock, so it's literally happening right now. It's a calm start. Winds pick up through the afternoon, gusting to about 20 miles per hour. And we're going to have a much warmer high today by about 6 degrees. Yesterday, 80 degrees. Today, 86 degrees, even close to 90 for you in Charlotte. And then the upper 70s feeling a little bit more comfortable up in the mountains. But I do think if there's going to be a chance for rain, it will be in the mountains on and off throughout this morning. And again, maybe in the middle of tomorrow or this afternoon. But then by tomorrow afternoon, better chance for really north of I-40. Got ahead of myself. Our low temperatures either side of 70. That's tomorrow morning. That's Saturday morning. Then we start to come down to reality, starting off in the lower 60s. And our dew points are on the humid side. Once you get to about 65, it's uncomfortable. Get used to me. I'm always using dew points as the best threshold because it's actually a better measure than using relative humidity, because relative humidity is really almost in the column of air how much moisture it is. The higher this number is, the more uncomfortable we feel. And that's exactly where we're going to remain for the course of today. As long as you're above the 60 line, it's sticky. As long as you're above 65, you're feeling it. Once you're about 70, then it's that muggy air you can wear. We're not quite to that status yet, but close enough. Especially when you get close to 90 degrees. So even though we might not hit that 90-degree point exactly across the Charlotte area, still going to be feeling like the lower 90s for your Friday. Once a front pushes through late on Saturday, we'll feel a little bit drier come Sunday, but that's only temporary. Our PGA Championship forecast. Today, dry. I think Sunday is dry as well. It's your Friday and Saturday that are a little bit iffy. Friday overall is going to have more clouds than sunshine. Saturday will have a few chances of rain, once starting in the morning. But Friday, the main story is just the muggy air that's going to keep us feeling like 92, 93 during the middle of the afternoon. So regardless, if we only hit 88, which is our top so far this year, it'll feel much warmer. So this is our hottest feeling day regardless of the year. Check out our futurecast. Tomorrow is our next chance for rain, because you can see for the afternoon we don't have too much going on. But by mid to late afternoon, we're going to have a lot more cloud cover, but most of the day, pretty sunny. So we have mostly sunny start and eventually turns over to a partly sunny status by the end of the day. By Friday morning, yeah, we're talking about mostly cloudy skies. Think we're staying dry. Slightest chance for maybe a light rain shower in the morning. I think the best chance for any rain Friday and Saturday will be in the morning, and then something could pop up, especially north of I-40 during your Friday afternoon before another system starts to roll back in. This is actually a severe weather event that I think will be decaying passing the mountains on Friday night heading into Saturday. And the main reason why we're not going to see too much is we have something that's called a storm cap. It pretty much prevents thunderstorms from forming. So if you do see anything pop, it would realistically be anywhere between about 6 and 8 o'clock. After that, the conditions just aren't favorable for it. Real quick for our rainfall forecast, the further north you go, you're expecting more rain. The further south you go, not as much. Coming up, I'll have your full 7-day forecast showing you where we're going into next week and your full weekend forecast. But we first have to check the roads with Majestic.
All right, good Thursday morning, everyone. As you are waking up, starting your day today, finally, we get some sunshine instead of a rainy morning commute. So grab those sunglasses if you're heading out the door. You'll want them throughout the morning time hours. You can see I-77 is flowing. It's starting to become a bit more congested, which is typical for this time of the day, just after 7 o'clock this morning. Here's a look at our live traffic maps. Really not doing all too bad. We're seeing our typical congested areas along I-77, I-85, but I do do want to point out a couple of things. Right around the stadium area, we have an ongoing accident. You can see emergency responders are on scene. A right lane is actually blocked. West Moorhead Street is where it's at, where it intersects with Cedar Street. Off to the east, we're watching this carefully for you, seeing stop and go traffic. We're seeing a lot of that red now on I-85 and Graham Street. That's where we do have an ongoing accident. And just zooming it on out and putting things into perspective, like Chris has been mentioning, some areas you actually have not a whole lot of sunshine, but rather some fog out there, especially if you're going to be traveling along I-77 or I-40 here from Statesville, Hickory, Morganton. Less than a quarter of a mile of visibility at times, so take it easy. Be prepared for changing road conditions. We'll have more on those drive times coming up in just a few.
Right now, the PGA Championship officially getting underway at Quail Hollow. Some of the best in golf are right here in Charlotte, with the first group teeing up just about 5 minutes ago at 7 o'clock.
Now officially underway. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards now live with us here on WCNC Plus. She's live in South Charlotte. And Destiny, what are folks heading out to the action? What do they need to know before they go?
Yeah, so it's already starting to get busy here in South Charlotte, especially down at Sharon Road West and Glen Eagles. We saw some folks walking across Park Road to get to Quail Hollow with their lawn chairs in hand. So the best thing to know is to basically plan ahead, especially if you're going a little bit later today or tomorrow or this weekend. You really want to plan ahead for parking and getting to Quail Hollow. And that's because there's actually no public parking at the course itself. Fans will need to park off-site. Options include Carowinds on weekdays. You'll have to pay for these. Ballantine Corporate Place on the weekend, and the Park Expo Center throughout the tournament weekend. Katz is offering free rides on the Blue Line all week, but you'll need to remember the only shuttle to Quail Hollow leaves from the Sharon Road West Park and Ride. There's no parking at that station, so fans should use other park and ride locations along the Blue Line like I-485 or Scaly Bark. And as for tickets, only resale options are left on SeatGeek, with prices ranging from a few $100s to over $2,000, depending on the experience. Tournament organizers say it's already shaping up to be an unforgettable week on the course, with Quail Hollow continuing to raise the bar for championship golf.
They're a venue that want to host major championship golf, and they do it in a first-class manner. We're proud to be part of it and work with them. And it allows us to build some of the most dramatic hospitality units we have ever built. We're proud of that, and those people in them will have the greatest view of golf.
Yeah, and I just checked SeatGeek, and you still have the Championship Plus tickets and the club hospitality package, which is like the full gamut. So very limited though. So if you want to get those are resale only. And there are special rules for what you can and cannot bring, just like most venues. Very specific though for Quail Hollow. You can only bring in bags that are 10 by 10 by 10, so small bags, and clear bags won't fulfill that. They do need to be a small size. There's another list of things you can and can't bring as well. And then also, once you're actually on the course, phones must be on silent or on vibrate, and no flash on your cameras. Of course, all this information is in our story, our PGA guide on the WCNC Charlotte News app. I'll send it back to you guys live here from South Charlotte.
And Destiny, I think it's worth repeating, you said there is no parking on site, so folks who are headed that way will have to pay for parking. I know you had to move a couple of times this morning. Tell us what your experience was like just trying to get close to Quail Hollow.
Yeah, so we were hoping to, see just, how busy it was going to be at that intersection of Glen Eagles and Park Road. So we parked across the street at the Harris Teeter at that shopping center that's on Sharon Road West and Park Road. But if you go into that parking lot, they actually have signs that say no PGA parking. We thought we were far away enough, and we're not actually crossing the street, so we thought we were fine to just be there to do live shots, but we were moved from that spot. So they have folks that are in position. They are doing their job, trying to keep folks from trying to, park there and walk across the street. They're really, really strict on parking rules for this championship. So again, we did see people walking from, I believe, that Sharon Road West park and ride. You cannot park there, but you can take the blue line from another location to that spot, and then they have shuttles going from there, and as well as the designated parking location. So definitely strict for this championship. So definitely look at the guide, the spectator guide, because that'll let you know where's safe to park and how to get to Quail Hollow.
And that's going to be the case all weekend. Yeah. All right, Destiny, thank you so much. This morning, property taxes could soon go up, according to Mecklenburg County's proposed 2026 budget. The reason, county officials say they are facing a $29 million budget deficit. This means there will be cuts to a lot of departments, especially nonprofits. As for the property taxes, the increase amounts to about a $36 increase each year for the average home price. Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools, however, will not face any cuts.
The community has repeatedly told us their number one priority is education. So whether you look at MEC Pre-K, whether you're looking at K-12 or CPCC, that's the number one priority.
There will be a public hearing on this next Wednesday, May 21st. The county hopes to adopt the budget by June 3rd. Funeral services have been announced for Logan Federico, the 22-year-old Waxhaw woman who was murdered at a home in Columbia, South Carolina earlier this month. Logan's funeral will be held next Thursday, May 22nd at 1 p.m. at Cedar Creek Ranch in Waxhaw. Her family says everyone is welcome to attend, and they are encouraging folks to wear pink for Logan. Meanwhile, 30-year-old Alexander Dickey remains in jail, charged in Logan's death and other crimes. He faces up to life in prison.
Ahead of the budget meeting, there was a moment of silence for county commissioners following the death of Rusty Rozelle. He was the longtime manager of the Mecklenburg County Water Quality Program. The county manager described his death as unexpected and says he will be missed. His family history in Charlotte dates back over 200 years when they first settled in the area. His family, the namesake of Rosl's Ferry Road, and honors the family's history of, yes, running a ferry across the Catawba River starting back in 1816. Charlotte's Jewish community grieving this morning after the loss of Irving Beanstock. He was a Holocaust survivor, World War II vet, and prominent member of the community. He died Monday at the age of 98. Born in Dortmund, Germany, Beanstock escaped Nazi Germany, reuniting with his family here in the States. He and his wife Lillian settled in Charlotte in 1975 and had been a staple in the community, including participating in the Levine Jewish Community Center's Butterfly Project.
7:12 now. After signing deals in Qatar, President Trump will make his way to the United Arab Emirates later this morning for the last stop in his Middle East trip. President Trump looking to use his influence in other parts of the region and in foreign conflicts. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
President Trump visiting troops in Qatar at the largest U.S. military base in the Middle East.
America's military will soon be bigger, better, stronger, and more powerful than ever before.
It follows a meeting with business leaders earlier this morning.
I can tell you that our country is hot. It's hot as a pistol.
On Wednesday, a deal announced for Qatar to buy up to 210 Boeing jets from the U.S., a new record and part of what the White House says is a broader $243 billion in new Qatari investment in the U.S.
We have the best equipment anywhere in the world. You're buying a lot of that equipment, actually.
That as Qatar's prime minister dismissed the controversy over President Trump's plan to accept a gifted luxury jet to be used as Air Force One.
This is a very simple government-to-government dealing.
The plane expected to transfer to the Trump Presidential Library at the end of his term. Lawmakers in both parties raising serious concerns about accepting a $400 million foreign gift.
I can think of a lot of other things Qatar could do for us, like, for example, quit harboring Islamic jihadist terrorists who are trying to kill Americans.
President Trump headed today for the United Arab Emirates, the final leg of his Middle Eastern trip. That's included efforts to push Iran toward a nuclear deal. A top advisor to Iran's supreme leader telling NBC's Richard Engel Iran is willing to commit to never having a nuclear weapon in order to lift crippling sanctions.
Yes, we are ready.
All as some of President Trump's top aides traveled to Turkey for direct peace talks between Moscow and Kyiv, aimed at ending Russia's war on Ukraine. There had been hopes that Russia and Ukraine's presidents, along with President Trump, would all join the talks in Turkey, but those appear dashed by Russia sending a lower-level delegation than anticipated. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
In North Carolina, lawmakers are moving forward with a bill giving a 2-year grace period to renew your license after it expires. That bill is now headed to the House floor. Lawmakers hope it will help drivers struggling with ongoing problems at the DMV, including backlogs and service delays. WCNC Charlotte's Kaylin Hagwood reports.
Some relief could be in store for drivers needing to renew their license in North Carolina. House Bill 821 clearing a major hurdle this week as lawmakers seek solutions to the state's DMV backlog.
The point of it is to simply relieve the North Carolina public from the concerns they have about being unable to renew their driver's license.
Speaking at a committee meeting last month, Catawba County Representative Jay Adams, who sponsored the bill, advocated for its passing. He says it would provide drivers an extra 2 years to renew their expired licenses while also seeking solutions to delays and staffing shortages. But lawmakers warn the grace period comes with potential pitfalls, as driving with an expired license in other states could still result in a ticket or even create problems when renting a car. Concerns mirrored by the DMV, which said in a statement that while they have not taken a position on the bill, quote, "This bill does nothing to alleviate the need for a valid license for a number of other transactions such as banking, vehicle rentals, alcohol or pharmacy purchases, and even changing vehicle registrations in person." Despite these challenges, Adams expressed hope the new DMV commissioner will get the agency back on track.
It does not solve all of the issues that might be attendant with having your driver's license active. And so I'm really looking at the committee, and I'm asking for your assistance in understanding the problem we have here, the concerns that the public has, and how does DMV catch up?
Maybe that would help, but I still think people are going to get into big trouble just because it's okay for DMV purposes. You still need it for things like banks and other things, and if it's expired, it's not going to do you any good.
You need a valid. All right. Speaking of the DMV, it's been a little over a week since the Real ID law went into effect, and many people still trying to get theirs. The Department of Homeland Security says about 81% of travelers now have a Real ID.
And the state DMV says about 5 million people have theirs, and we want to say a congrats to Lisa. She is one of the newest holders of the Real ID here in North Carolina, but as you say, it's not even, you don't even have the card yet.
I don't. So that's why I wasn't here during streaming from 7 to 9 yesterday. I had an appointment at 8:15. I was 25 minutes early.
How about that?
Got text messages. I was A152. That was my number. Sorry for your wait. You'll be called as soon as possible. If you no longer want to be in line, I'm like, no way, I'm here. I'm seeing it through. Thanks for visiting Charlotte North DMV. About 2 hours later.
And we should say you had an appointment. You were not a walk-in.
I was not a walk-in. I had an appointment for 8:15, and I was 25 minutes early. I proceeded to Station 6, and I met Bobby. There I am with my little ticket. He was wonderful. It was great. It was just a bit longer than I anticipated with an appointment. I will say there were walk-ins. There were people who had appointments, so we were seated in one section while we waited. Then there were those who were walk-ins. The line was out the door. It was pouring rain, but people were waiting.
On a Wednesday morning.
On a Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock in the morning.
And you were up at university?
I was up, yes. Yeah. I don't remember the exact location, but it's the largest one in the Charlotte area. But there was success. I don't know if we had the last picture, but 2 hours later, I thought I was going to get like the real ID.
You thought you were going to go the real ID.
Not so much. I got the temporary ID, which is just like a piece of paper.
So all in all, 2 hours? 2
hours. I was texting you.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
I wanted an update.
Good luck.
You're ahead of me.
Prepare to wait if you go, but you can get it done.
In like a month. I've got that to look forward to.
Oh, Show Off already has his.
I know, Chris. I know, right? Look at you.
The least likely candidate to have his first.
Look at you.
Biggest shock of the
Basking
year.
in the glory.
It is pretty cool, though. There's a lot of extras on the ID compared to the previous one. So congratulations, Lisa. Soon you'll be a real ID holder in the next 30 to 60 days. You are looking at potentially the warmest day of the year by tomorrow. 89 degrees, 88 on Saturday. Notice our pinnacle, that was back on April 5th. We haven't been there since. The warmest May temperature we have is 86 degrees. We're going to be there today. So Friday and Saturday, the warmest day of the year. And I can just say that confidently because if you factor in the moisture content, yeah, it's going to feel like the warmest by far. Here's tomorrow's forecast. Winds out of the southwest at about 5 to 10. Occasional gusts up to about 15 to 20 miles per hour. I think we start off cloudy. We'll have mostly cloudy skies for the afternoon. And all in all, we are staying dry. But I want to talk about the first 90-degree day climatology. On average, it's May 20th that we have our first 90-degree high. Over the last 5 years, last year we hit it on June 13th, June 3rd, and then it wasn't since 2022 that we actually hit our first 90 in the month of May, and then we pretty much did that 5 years prior to that. And our first 90-degree climatology dating back to 1878, it's typically over half of the times that we have that first 90 is during the month of May. It is very rare to do it as early as March or as late as July. So we are on tap for that. I have 89 right now. I think that cloud cover is going to temper our expectations. Some of us will hit 90, but if we end up hitting the 90-degree point, it'll be right on where we should be. Temperatures still rocking the mid-80s heading into next week, but check it out. We will see a drop off by late next week. That's another strong cold front. It's going to cool us down and dry us out. That'll bring our lows back down to the 50s, but in the meantime, we have some very warm mornings, either side of 70 degrees starting off tomorrow and your Saturday morning. And our precipitation chances very low, actually, the next couple of days. I think all in all, good chance of staying dry. A few wet periods, and I'll get to that in 1 second. But then it's really Tuesday into Wednesday. Wednesday stands out, and that's where I think that we have that strong front that starts to arrive, even a chance for some stronger thunderstorms looking at the extended forecast. Here's tomorrow. It's cloudy to begin the day. We do see some signs of rain starting to form to the north. I think if it does rain, it's for you in the mountains to the northern Piedmont, north of I-40. A couple of developing systems will be possible there, but the big chance for rain that we have is actually not for something that's really forecasted, and this is the reason why. It's this decaying system. This likely is going to be a long track system that brings some gusty winds. I think it could be dying out through the area, so we could have some leftovers, some rain to begin your Saturday associated with that system. Then we'll clear out, and then we'll see another late day rain chance really during your Saturday evening heading into early Sunday morning. Then Sunday afternoon should be dry. Then, as I mentioned, rocking the mid-80s, still staying humid into the middle of next week. Majestic, how's it looking so far? Not too bad, right?
No, not bad at all. Much better than the last few days. At least we don't have all that rain, and really people are driving much better. It is a much quieter traffic morning out there. I-77, you can see all that sunshine. It's a gorgeous start to your Thursday morning. Of course, traffic is starting to pick up as more people are waking up and starting their day. A couple of things I want to point out for you. This accident that I've been following for the last 30 minutes or so is all clear now. That was the one over by the stadium on West Moorhead Street near I-77, so no more issues there. But where we are really starting to see some big impacts and some backups, stop and go traffic is right here along I-85. It's at Graham Street. So if you typically drive this way, maybe you take I-85 to get to I-77. Just allow for a little extra drive time to get there. Now, if you travel north of Uptown, this is where we do have the most amount of fog right now. That's really reducing down visibility still, especially from Statesville over towards Morganton. Drive times on your Thursday morning, they are definitely increasing. If you're coming in from Gastonia and heading into Charlotte, it's going to take you around 45 minutes to get you there from Waxhaw to Charlotte, just over 50. Ben.
It's time for On This Day in History. We go back to the year 1940, and Richard and Maurice McDonald opened a burger restaurant in San Bernardino, California that became the beginning of what we know as McDonald's. This is the original restaurant. They sold hamburgers there. The McDonald brothers sold them for 15 cents. And, of course, this is the way it looks today. By the way, the year 1955, Ray Kroc bought the idea and put into effect the Golden Arches as we know it today. But that's On This Day in History, the beginning of what we know as McDonald's. I'm Larry Sprinkle.
Well, if you've been pushing off your spring cleaning, one Vermont-based DJ is making a playlist to help you complete your to-do list.
The catch, you still have to clean your house, but you'll have your own personal cheerleader to get you through the heavy lifting. 2, 1. Okay, it probably is fun. This is Tara Lee Weathers, the DJ dropping beats in living rooms while homeowners clean. At the moment, the one-of-a-kind service lasts for 1 hour. She says it seems to be plenty of time for her clients. Weathers says she was inspired when she helped a friend put away laundry by just being there in the room. Now she's ready to help you tackle chores by moving and grooving.
Make it fun. Like, I hate cleaning and I hate organizing and I hate all the things, but music makes everything better.
I couldn't think of a better way to be inspired to clean than having great music behind you.
Now, while Tara Lee said that she's only done living room shows in Vermont right now, she says she may be willing to travel one day to offer her services. So we want to know, what is your go-to cleaning song?
I would say Stevie Wonder, Superstition.
That's a good one.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's what I said.
I will show you where I said it to our producer earlier.
So will I. That is so
That
crazy.
is hilarious.
Look.
This morning.
They're not messing around. That's what it
Wow.
I sent it to our producer. That's so wild. That is exactly what I sent to him.
Majestic, do you think we picked the same one?
says. I don't know. Should we say it on the count of 3?
That says Stevie Wonder, Superstition.
Yeah.
It has
You
been
guys-
verified over
You
there.
guys are on the same vibe. Are we? Okay.
Yeah, okay, count of 3.
2, 1.
So
Let's
fresh and
go,
so
girls.
clean. Okay, nope. Mm-mm.
Not even close. Not even close.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. With time.
It's kind of so over the top, though, to have your own DJ at your house.
You think?
It's so over the top. But growing up, I remember my mom, she would open up the curtains, she would blast music. So we need a combination of music and some sunlight, and you can do it.
You can do anything, right? With the right music.
Helps.
I would like to have Chris be our DJ at your house.
Are you ready to clean?
No. Can you imagine? But he's not going to clean. He's just going to play the music.
No, I'm not.
All right. All right, we're going to take a quick break as we get a live look right now over Uptown. A check of traffic and weather coming up in just about 30 seconds right here on WCNC Plus.
Well, good day, everybody. We got to get ready for some of our hottest weather of the year. That's right, and that's starting on tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to have highs that are reaching the upper 80s to right around 90 degrees, so keep that in mind. For this afternoon, we can expect a pretty decent day. A nice mix of cloud and sunshine. A few more clouds to end the day with highs in the mid-80s, but notice those yellow numbers. Those yellow numbers represent how we feel, ladies and gentlemen. So it is going to be hot, hot, hot. The warmest air and the most humid air that we've had so far this year. Once you get to the weekend, we're going to see those temperatures level out in the mid 80s by Sunday and beyond. As far as our rainfall chances, most likely staying dry on Friday, maybe some rain on Saturday with a better chance during your Saturday evening. Majestic, what do we need to know about your morning commute so far?
Well, it's a lot more beautiful compared to the last several rainy mornings that we have had. Looking outside this morning, I-77, traffic is starting to pick up. Of course, we would suspect that, but it's not nearly as busy as what we've seen over the last few days. So let's continue to keep it that way. This one, though, likely going to impact many of your morning commutes. This is I-85. There's a crash at Graham Street. You can see that stop-and-go traffic. In addition to that, we do have another accident that you'll want to know about, especially if you take the Brookshire Boulevard area. There is a crash there at Pleasant Grove Road. We'll have more on WCNC Plus in just a few. Hope to see you there.
Streaming live on WCNC Plus at 7:30 on this Thursday morning. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. Right now, the PGA Championship is getting underway at Quail Hollow, and the tournament is bringing more than just world-class golf to Charlotte this week. Local businesses are also seeing a significant boost.
Our PGA team coverage continues with WCNC Charlotte's Miles Harris. And Miles, how much does this tournament help local businesses? We can see Miles is getting set up, so hopefully he'll be with us momentarily. Can you hear us, Miles?
Yes, I can. How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you doing?
How are you?
We're at the PGA. We're good. Sorry, we're getting set up right now, guys. But yeah, you guys have talked about it. The amount of volunteers playing a really big hand when it comes to the PGA Championships here at Quail Hollow. And speaking of those volunteers, we actually have a couple of volunteers here with us today to talk about the impacts that they are making at this weekend's tournament here. I have both Scott and Julie Duncan, and we've already spent a lot of time talking about really the history that you guys have of being volunteers. Julie, how many years have you guys been volunteers, specifically even here at Quail Hollow?
At Quail Hollow, probably 30 years.
30 years.
Yep.
That's awesome. And so when you talk about and you see this tournament, what really sticks out to you firsthand?
It's like a step above everything. They go over and above and make sure that the volunteers are really well taken care of, and everybody coming in, that they have a great time.
Yeah. It's
we just love being out here. We do, obviously.
Now, Scott, what kind of role do you guys have playing with being a volunteer at this year's tournament too?
Well, Julie and I are in charge of the volunteer services, which means we hand out the credentials, put the packets together, get the uniforms, and hand that out to everybody that's coming in, making sure, and we do it beforehand too, the weekend before the tournament, so everybody gets their uniforms, credentials. We still got a lot left because we got people coming from all around the United States, some from Europe and so forth like that. So.
Yeah.
That's awesome to kind of hear and think about though too. So let's say wherever I'm coming from, I want to get the best visual for this tournament.
Sure.
Where would you recommend us to go again set up at?
Oh my gosh, this whole course is absolutely beautiful, but I would say, personally, I would go out to 7. It has water on the hole, gorgeous view. There's brick wall or a stone wall around it. Another one is the par 3 at 17. That's a beautiful hole to watch from. I don't know. I don't think there's a bad hole, honestly. It's great.
It's
I
awesome.
love it.
It's
yeah.
awesome. And the views, everything out here is just playing perfectly.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The people who take care of the greens, whew, they are wonderful. We've had a lot of rain and they just step up. Everything looks great. You'd never know.
Now, Scott, when you guys do this, because I know you guys have done these tournaments before, how do you guys get set in preparing for dealing with the amount of people that are actually coming to tournaments like this?
Well, I guess you kind of anticipate every need that they're going to be having and ready to answer a lot of questions. We are kind of versed in a lot of things that might happen during the tournament, good things, bad things, and how to help people, because you want to make the experience as best as possible for not only the volunteers that are working for the PGA, but also all the spectators, to give them the best, answer any questions, do anything that makes their life better.
Yeah. You have to realize that they're coming in maybe for the first time ever. Even though we've done it every year, we are so excited to tell people about everything that we offer out here, where they can get different things, and it's just a lot of fun. I love the excitement they're coming in with too. It's great.
Now, if I get lost anywhere, Ben and Lisa, I know exactly who I'm going to go to. It'll ask for any help, any information. You guys are awesome, and I'm looking forward to seeing how helpful you guys are with this tournament, but also seeing the amount of people that come out here and enjoy some golf. So thank you guys so much, and enjoy you guys' time. And honestly, guys, a lot of excitement for this year's tournament. We're going to hear more about the impact the volunteers are making, that some of the directors of the greens are making here, guys, but definitely a lot of excitement making their way out here this morning. Ben and Lisa.
Yeah, I know we talked about the business impact, and we'll get to that story maybe in the 8 a.m. hour, just because we talked about it, and people might be expecting that since they see that on the lower part of their screen. But the volunteers, they're the ones that make this thing happen, you know? So it was great to hear from them. All right, Miles, thank you, appreciate it.
Thanks, Miles.
All right, let's go ahead and get a check of the forecast if you're headed out to Quail Hollow or anywhere else in the next couple of days. Chris?
Well, let's do it. So for your golfing forecast, you can see that there are only 2 days that have any sort of rain chance. Today and Sunday looks to be A-OK. There's a slight chance for rain Friday morning, Saturday morning, not really affecting any PGA play. If I were to pick a time frame that I think will be the wettest, I think it's Saturday morning and then again during Saturday evening. And we'll get to the reason why. But first, we'll start off with our worst part of today, and that has been the patchy dense fog. Now, the images I have here for our visibility cameras not really showing snowing too much. We don't have cameras along I-40. That's where we're seeing the worst fog and density as far as it's concerned. And it's down to about a goose egg close to Statesville, quarter mile around the Hickory area. Nothing much happening around satellite and radar. That's the reason why. Whenever it rains especially, and then you have a calm next day and a clear sky, that maximizes your fog potential. That's perfect conditions right around the Hickory area. And that's why we're only at 62 degrees and 64 in Morganton. Visibilities there have really improved in Burke County. You start off at 0 around 4 a.m. And then the upper 60s, starting point around Charlotte. Soon we'll be jumping into the lower 70s. It's going to be a great day to look forward to. Highs right in the mid 80s. I think you have more clouds to end the day. So highs today, 86. Yesterday we were at 80. So a big upgrade. You're feeling that moisture in the air a little bit more so than what we have over the last few days. And we're going to be in that uncomfortable zone for each afternoon, especially on Friday. Friday, we're really feeling it. Check it out. You're seeing temperatures that are jumping to around 90 degrees. That means we're going to be feeling more like 90 to 93 by the early afternoon. For your weekend forecast, still warm and steamy for your Saturday. Mid 80s on Sunday. Coming up, we'll talk a little bit more about the rain chances. They are very weak, very light, but some of us could see some rain for your Friday to Sunday time frame. I'll dissect that here coming up. But first, we have to check your morning commute.
Good Thursday morning to you, everyone. It's a nice start to the day, much better than the last few days, not dealing with any of those rain showers. Now, you might encounter some areas of some patchy fog, but for the most part, not too bad, at least looking at those cameras. I-77 out there in York County. I-77 at Clarkson Street looks great. Look at that, all of that sunshine. Get outside and soak it up today. And before you head out the door, you might want to grab some sunglasses. All right, I do want to talk about this accident because it is ongoing. Brookshire Boulevard, there's a crash at Pleasant Grove Road. There is an image of it. We're seeing minor impacts there, but if you typically drive that way, you may have some extra minutes added to your morning commute. In addition to that, like Chris has mentioned, it's hard to pick up on where we're seeing that fog as far as our cameras go, but we're seeing that clearly as we're looking at some of our drive times and our traffic maps. You can see Statesville really struggling with that visibility through Hickory and Morganton all the way up towards Jefferson. So if you are traveling this morning north of Charlotte, make sure you're just ready for changing road conditions because at times it could be gorgeous and beautiful with lots of sunshine, and then other times you're kind of socked in with that dense or patchy fog. Drive times this morning, they are definitely increasing. Here we go. Gastonia to Charlotte, about 45 minutes to get you there. Waxhaw to Charlotte, about 55. We'll have more on your traffic updates coming up.
Well, this year we've been raising awareness on maternal health and mental wellness, especially among Black women.
Studies show that Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to die during childbirth due to related complications. A few weeks ago, I talked with doctors from Raising Resilience Counseling, some therapists, about addressing specific needs of Black women and the fight to provide a safe space.
We were just privy to all this information about maternal mental health conditions, the prevalence, especially for Black women, how often Black women experience these perinatal mood and anxiety disorders, but they're also least likely to receive support. And so it just really hit home for us in personal experiences and the work that we were already doing.
Well, there are bills in the North Carolina House and Senate to give grants to organizations offering maternal health care services with an emphasis on improving access for Black women.
Joining us this morning to take a closer look at Black maternal health are doctors Tiffany Bates and Nicole Parson from FemWell Gynecology. Good morning, doctors. Thanks so much for getting up to join us.
Good morning.
Good morning. So let's talk about the factors that contribute to the higher than normal rates, or higher than average, I should say, of maternal mortality when it's compared to Black women compared to others in the U.S.
Yeah, so I think that health inequity and a lack of access to high quality medical care lead to a lot of these rates that we see. I think also the pre-existing medical conditions, high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, can also lead to this. There's also some implicit bias that we see with the providers that are providing care to these women. I think all of these things combined lead to the rates of higher mortality and morbidity in Black women in this country.
And do you know of any community-led programs and initiatives that have proven effective in sort of tackling this issue?
Yes, I think the Black Mamas Matter Alliance has made a big impact when it comes to advancing Black maternal mortality and morbidity and just rights and justice, as well as initiatives like the North Carolina Maternal Innovative Program, which is now handing out. I gave birth bracelets, and this is allowing us to really know that a woman recently delivered and focus on her postpartum care and support a little better. I think having access to community-based doula programs is very important. I think women tend to feel more heard, like they have an advocate when they're going through the labor and delivery process and even postpartum period. And then things like Mind, Body, Baby here in the Charlotte area, it's a great support system. There are wonderful apps, the Earth app, her Health and Her Hue is another app that I can think of that's made a big difference.
We hear the words access and advocacy a lot when we talk about getting health care and resources to those who need it, and really for everyone. I remember studying this when I was in grad school, actually, and this does not cross it goes across all socioeconomic barriers, race, class. I mean, for Black women, it doesn't matter. Serena Williams, the great tennis legend, talked about experiencing problems when she was pregnant with her first child. Talk about how that affects sort of the care and the role when we talk about access and then advocating for yourself.
Well, I think that everyone needs basic access to good, high quality care in this country, and not every woman gets that. And so I think we have to start there to make sure that we have access for all women to high quality care. And then I think that as you talk about Serena Williams and any woman in this country, that they should get unbiased care, so that we can make sure that when we are being cared for by our physicians, that we get this unbiased care, that we get timely interventions, that we are seen and heard, so that when we are getting that care, that we feel comfortable and confident that the interventions that we're getting, that we are getting that care, that we are not getting delayed treatment in our pain, delayed treatment in our blood pressures, and in other conditions that can lead to those higher rates of morbidity and mortality.
I think you say bias there, and I think people, that often comes with a malicious intent, and sometimes that's not the case. But I know even, as a gay man, I go to a gay male doctor because he's more aware of the issues facing the gay community, right. And the same goes for other communities as well.
Absolutely. I think it's important to have access to medical staff and healthcare providers that understand where you're coming from, maybe look like you. Oftentimes that's very, very helpful.
So is there anything that you think or you would say to the people who are watching, not just Black women, but watching this, to improve these maternal outcomes?
Yes, again, I think having access to a diverse medical staff, really being diligent in doing your research on your provider before you decide to, go receive care from them, so that you can feel comfortable communicating your needs, knowing that you'll be seen and heard. Considering hiring a doula or, entering one of these community-based doula programs. I think if we also improve the social determinants of health, like improving poverty rates, addressing our housing instability, that has a direct impact on maternal morbidity and mortality as well.
And then I think also building that relationship. I think that a lot of times it's just having a good relationship with your physician outside of the pregnancy. Don't wait until you're pregnant to have that relationship. That it's not always like as you said, an intentional bias there. That if you have a physician that may or may not look like you, but you have that relationship and you've built that trust and you have that open communication, then you're able to have that base relationship there, so that when you are pregnant, you have that open communication. And I think that those outcomes are better. And then also making sure that your overall health and wellness is a priority, so that when you are pregnant, you come into that pregnancy at a better state of health to improve the outcome during the pregnancy.
And I should say, I've talked to Congresswoman Alma Adams a number of times about this, and she has been one of the biggest advocates and biggest champions for this cause on Capitol Hill in D.C., pushing for more funding from the federal level and beyond.
For sure, and I think she said it right with open communication, because, you know, everyone wants to be heard, especially when you're talking with your doctor. You need that relationship there. Doctors Tiffany Bates and Nicole Parson from FemWell, thank you so much for speaking with us this morning. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
7:45 right now on WCNC Plus, and happening today, Charlotte City Council is going to take the next step to fill its currently open council seat. City leaders hosting a candidate forum for those applicants later today.
The District 6 seat was left empty after former council member Tarek Bakari stepped down to begin a role in the Trump administration. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane is live for us this morning with what we can expect ahead of today's forum. Richard.
Yeah, good afternoon, good morning, guys. Just listening to that last interview, very interesting. But we can tell you that basically there is a lot that council members want to hear from those candidates in that forum today. Basically, their views on how they feel the city should proceed forward. Today, those leaders say they're moving quickly to fill the vacant District 6 council seat left by Bakari's departure. Tarek Bakari's new role as Deputy Administrator of the Federal Transit Administration comes as Charlotte pushes forward on its ambitious Red Line project. His influence could help speed up stalled state legislators needed to fund it, with hopes of getting it on the November 2025 ballot. As for his replacement, one of the most talked about names, his wife, Krista, a recent state house candidate who overperformed in a tough race against her Democratic challenger, Brandon Lofton, who won. At his final town hall, Bakari publicly backed his wife's possible candidacy. For their part, council members have said they want a short-term caretaker in that role, not someone eyeing a November run, because they feel it would give that person a leg up for the upcoming elections.
Hopefully that we will select a caretaker that will not run and make that pledge not to run. And if that person breaks their word, it speaks to character.
And again, that forum will take place today at 2 o'clock, guys.
And Richard, we have been saying that some of the council would prefer someone who is not looking to have this role permanently. Do we know if there's anything specific that they might be looking for in a candidate or an applicant?
They'll be looking for the vision, for instance, transportation, what their vision of transportation is with important projects like that. Also, what their plans are as far as moving the city forward, if they align with some of the same views that the council has. But of course, they say they just want a candidate who has the ability to move the city forward and especially represent the people of District 6 properly.
All right, Richard Devane, thanks so much for that report, Richard. Let's check in with Chris now to find out more about our forecast. The humidity is coming back.
Oh, I know. It's that air you can wear, especially tomorrow. But we could be feeling a whole lot worse when you get dew points in the mid-70s. That's that yuck status. We're not there yet. But we are going to see a few of those developing rain chances try to return on Friday and Saturday. But I'm letting you know, Friday right now is trending to be dry, at least for Charlotte. I think if you live around Statesville, you have a better chance to get wet during the afternoon and again during the evening. And then Saturday, we kind of have two bookends. We have a chance for rain. So this part of WCNC Plus, I want to just talk about our rain chances over the next couple of days heading the weekend, helping you prepare. Today, nothing. Today is a dry day. I'm really excited about that. I think if we do see rain, it's for you in the mountains, the high country. You always have a better chance for rain just because you're higher up, and then you can actually saturate the atmosphere a lot easier at higher elevations as something rides up the slopes. But we will see more clouds by the end of the day. That's one thing that we all can come together with. And any storm chances are really around Raleigh to the east, not affecting any of the counties that you see here. We cover 22 counties here on WCNC. And our futurecast showing there's a slight chance for a little bit of rain starting in the mountains by the early morning hours, but it could begin tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think, is a much cloudier day. Overall, it's a mostly cloudy to an overcast one. That's going to temper our expectations. If we see more sunshine, this is indicating when you see me tomorrow, I'm going to be calling for a 90-degree high. But I kept it at 89 just because I think that cloud cover is just going to miss that 90-degree opportunity for the first time. But then once we get rid of this rain, could also have a little bit of fog to begin the morning, depending. We're going to see a developing system A few chunks of some heavier rain really around noon and beyond, right around the I-40 corridor. I think that avoids the Charlotte area. At most, you might see some darker clouds, maybe a stray sprinkle on your Friday, but we have a lot of things that are inhibiting any storm formation right around the Charlotte area. And then heading into your Saturday morning, there's also a chance for rain. So this is called your storm cap. Think about a bottle of soda. You could shake it up. There's a bunch of instability. It's ready to burst, but until you take the cap off, nothing's going to explode. Same thing goes with storms. As long as you have kind of what this is called convective inhibition, you're not going to really see too much form. So by the late day, maybe there's a chance something can bubble up, but right now not looking all that likely as long as that blue is on the map. Our futurecast is indicating that there is a unique setup heading into Saturday morning, though. So Saturday morning could be a wet one. Check it out. This is a leftover storm system that will likely produce widespread severe wind damage northwest of us, but sometimes these hold together through the overnight. As it passes the mountains, it will start to weaken, but we could have light to moderate rain, some patches of some heavier rain approaching sunrise for your Saturday. I think this clears out, eventually burns off the clouds, allowing for more sunshine heading into your Saturday afternoon. So those are your rain chances going forward. Right now, Sunday is trending much drier as well. So our Guy Roofing 7-day forecast sees those pulses of rain. After that, mid-80s, still staying humid in next week. I think our best chance for rain going forward is really next Wednesday. Hopefully your morning commute is faring just well. I know just the person asked. Majestic, how's it looking?
It's looking pretty nice across really the Carolinas as a whole. Lots of sunshine out there. You can see it in our drive times and our live traffic cameras. You can see I-77 here. Traffic is starting to pick up, but that's pretty typical for this time of the day. Want to zoom into a specific ongoing incident that may slow you down a few minutes. This is at the Brookshire Boulevard area at Pleasant Grove. There's an accident that has now created a stalled vehicle. So seeing slow and go conditions for some of us, but not seeing anything too impactful there. And then Beatty's Ford Road. Here we go again. Another accident. There's a crash there at Mount Holly Huntersville Road, and we're seeing a lot of red there popping up, indicating just really slow moving conditions. As a whole, though, we do just have our typical slow and go conditions along I-77, I-85. Most of us are seeing a view like this where it's gorgeous, but again, you may encounter some fog, especially if you're going to be traveling north of Charlotte.
Thanks, Majestic. A new study shows that men are more likely to die from broken heart syndrome after experiencing a tragedy.
A study by the Journal of the American Heart Association found that 11% of men died from the syndrome from 2016 to 2020, compared to just 5% of women. The syndrome, thought to be triggered by physical or emotional stress, like losing a loved one, and can lead to bursts of stress hormones being released that prevent people's hearts from contracting properly. So it's an actual thing. While broken heart syndrome is most common in women, men who get it tend to fare worse and also have a harder time recovering from it.
Doctors in New York are using artificial intelligence to detect the early signs of heart disease, the leading cause of death in the U.S.
The new technology is winning over skeptics in the medical field who say AI could become a useful diagnostic tool. Greg Sergel reports.
Stony Brook medicine doctors An Chen and Michael Park see artificial intelligence.
So this is the only technology that is able to do this right now.
As a key to unraveling the mysteries of the leading cause of death among Americans.
This tool just gives us a very sensitive way of finding out whether or not you have heart disease.
AI begins its work by analyzing a CT heart scan like this one from a man in his 60s. In this case, the AI determined the man had blockages, but not bad enough to impact his heart blood flow. The AI also determined the man had dangerous amounts of bad plaque in his system. So the yellow is the bad.
Yellow's the bad.
And thus was at a higher risk of a heart attack.
By allowing us to characterize the plaque, we could potentially intervene earlier and reverse disease, potentially getting rid of heart disease altogether.
The doctors here say the AI has learned from experience. It's analyzed heart data from thousands of patients and is thus able to use that to determine the extent of your heart disease.
He called me up and he said, I got great news. You don't have any major artery blockages.
Neil Sedrain is one of about 100 Stony Brook Heart Institute patients who've taken advantage of the AI technology. Stony Brook Medicine is the first hospital in New York to use AI in this way.
If the science advances the medicine or vice versa, I'm happy to help. I am a true believer in science.
The Stony Brook doctors stress AI analysis is just one tool they use. But this one, they say, provides details that could save lives.
It's a more complete picture of the person's individual risk for heart disease.
Greg Searle reporting for us there. Take a look at this. Food delivery here in the Queen City taking flight. DoorDash teaming up with Wing to launch a drone delivery service here in Charlotte. We're told it's within a certain radius. DoorDash customers within 4 miles of the Arboretum down in South Charlotte can order some chain and local restaurants in that area and have food delivered via drone. The DashMart drone service promises to deliver in under 15 minutes.
I think it's going to be a shock the first couple of times you see a drone with, I don't know, your fast food bag.
I think you probably qualify for that.
I was thinking that too, actually.
I think you should try it out and let us know how it goes.
Probably scare my neighbors.
I know, right?
All right, well, we are going to take a quick break, but don't you go anywhere. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus. We're going to have another check of weather and traffic in just 2 minutes, and then we'll have the day's top headlines coming back at 8 o'clock.
Warmer than yesterday, to say the least, and we don't have a chance for storms or showers. Yesterday we started off wet. Some of us saw some downpours to end the day. Well, today all of us should stay dry, 86 degrees. The only thing is we have more clouds a little bit later on in the afternoon. Evening out, it's going to be splendid. Temperatures in the lower to the mid 80s to start, and then we end in the mid 70s by about 10 p.m. Today will be a humid day, just like yesterday. Tonight, very mild, only dropping down to about 70 degrees. And then tomorrow, Saturday, highs in the upper 80s, feeling like the lower 90s. So our Guy Roofing 70 forecast shows that Friday and Saturday will be the hottest feeling days we've had so far this year. Slight chance for rain. I think that's primarily going to be north of I-40 on Friday. Some rain to start off your Saturday morning, but should be dry by the afternoon. And looks like Sunday, trendy dry as well. Majestic?
All right, well, it is a nice start to the day. Many of us are seeing lots of sunshine for your morning commute. Do want to get to a couple of our most important accidents for your morning, though, because we have multiple that are ongoing now. This one here may slow down your commute just a bit. Beatty's Ford Road, there's a crash there at Mount Holly Hunterville Road. You can see yellow there and some red, so that's popping up and slowing down that morning commute. Another one here, it's on Highway 51. There's a crash at Park Cedar Drive. That's going to allow for 5 to 10 additional minutes for that morning commute. So do take it easy as you're heading out the door for your Thursday morning commute. We'll have more on WCNC Plus coming up in just a few.
Streaming live right now at 8 a.m. here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington.
This week's PGA Championship at Quail Hollow is an economic hole-in-one, you could say, for Charlotte. The tournament generating tens of millions of dollars, and it's helping to highlight how this city is a high-profile sports destination. The PGA Championship isn't just another golf tournament.
The PGA Championship and events like it put Charlotte truly on a global stage.
It's a massive economic driver for Charlotte.
In 2017, the PGA Championship brought $100 million in economic impact to our communities.
The President's Cup in 2022 brought in a more impressive $131 million. The impact goes way beyond just ticket sales. We're talking about an economic boost that touches nearly every corner of the city.
Transportation, shuttle services, parking, food and beverage, working on those hospitality locations within the tournament, local vendors doing that.
But this is about more than just dollars and cents. This event is putting Charlotte on the global stage. Last year, 5 million people watched the PGA Championship.
It reinforces our reputation as a premier sports city that can host high-profile events. It demonstrates the capabilities of our community to have visitors come in and have a great time in our destination.
This is an unprecedented year for major sports events here in Charlotte. In March, the Spectrum Center uptown hosted the ACC tournament. And next month, Bank of America Stadium will host 4 FIFA Club World Cup matches with some of the top clubs competing.
It's a catalyst for long-term growth, no question about that.
So you're talking tens of millions of dollars coming into town over the next few days because of Quail Hollow.
Again, if you love golf, hate golf, regardless, this is good for the city because it's not just for the golf world or those who love golf in Charlotte.
Small vendors out there, mom and pops. It really impacts almost every corner.
Yeah,
so.
a good way to showcase Charlotte as a
For
whole.
sure.
But we need to showcase the weather a little bit better because over the last few days, people have been here visiting, watching the practice rounds. And
Pressure's on.
It's been a little rough, but it seems like
no pressure.
No pressure.
Brushing his shoulders off.
I purposely got it all done earlier because the other was just practice.
Gotcha.
Now for the main event, it's good.
Perfect.
Totally intentional.
You clean that up.
Yeah. Ooh, right? Ooh, talk about a PR team. 0. That's right. A 0 visibility in Statesville, so it's fine at Quail Hollow. Not so much along the I-40 corridor. That's where we're looking at the lowest visibilities across the board. But for your golf forecast, I like where things are going. The first tee time officially was at 7 o'clock. Now going forward, temperatures will soon jump into the lower 70s, and then we'll have the lower 80s by about 1 p.m. and then the mid 80s by the middle of the afternoon. Now, rain-wise, I think we're going to be free of it today, but it's also going to be a more humid day today. Mid to the upper 70s, more clouds up in the mountains. Not really feeling the moisture up there as much as, say, the foothills. 85 for you in Morganton, 85 Maiden, Taylorsville, you're at 83 today. 86 a popular temperature from west to east along I-85, even though I know it goes northbound, southbound, but as far as cardinal directions, that's the way it generally goes. And then down towards the south, we have about 88, 89 across Chesterfield County. Overnight tonight, it's going to be a mild one, dropping down only to the upper 60s. So that means we're mainly in the lower 70s, so quite warm. No need for the jacket tomorrow because, boom, jumping up to 89. And if we get a little bit more sunshine than what's looking to be in the forecast, we're talking about our first 90-degree day for the year. And coming up, I'll talk a little bit more about our 90-degree climatology when we typically see it and so on and so on. But we're going to feel like the 90s. So it doesn't matter about what's right on the temperature, the way we feel out and about. This will be our hottest feeling day of the year. So these are the ones that are kind of sneaky. It's always the first one. Don't overexert yourself. If you have a dry throat, that's a sign that you might be starting to get dehydrated. So keep that in mind as you are doing whatever for your Friday. Our futurecast winds also a little bit higher today. You're going to notice it. Winds out of the southwest, the warm breeze. That's why it's 6 degrees warmer today. Gusting up to about 20 to 25. I think they're a little bit lighter tomorrow, gusting to about 15 to 20. But then check it out. By Saturday morning, we're seeing gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. And I think this has to do with whatever's rolling in by the weekend. So I want to fast forward to there. Friday, all in all, things are kind of lining up. Meteorological logically that we're going to stay dry. If you do see rain on the map tomorrow, it's either you Statesville, Taylorsville, Banner Elk, Boone, Jefferson, just naming a few. So pretty much I-40 into the north. I think Charlotte, and for the tournament, you're fine. Check out what rolls in on Saturday morning. So this is a decaying severe weather system that'll cross the mountains. So some of us will see some light to moderate rain, even some heavier downpours. Could be some lingering thunder. It's just kind of the name of the game with some of these systems that last through the overnight. So that'll change your Saturday morning. I think that might take a while to get the cloud cover out of here, but then we should be dry for the afternoon. Shaping up to be a decent pool day, still quite warm, feeling like 90 degrees. There is an outside chance we could redevelop a storm by your Saturday evening, but as of right now, by this Thursday, we're trending to be a little bit drier. So I like to see that. For your weekend forecast, 88. Feeling it like 90 degrees on Saturday. Most rain should stay to the north, but again, you will have some rain to start off the morning. 85 degrees Sunday right now. No rain chances for the time being. On Sunday, maybe a lingering shower heading into the morning, depending on whatever rolls in. And our dew points will take a little bit of a dip as the front passes on Sunday. So just feeling near the comfortable range to barely sticky. And then before you know it, we're right back to near that muggy range as we increase our rain chances by next Wednesday. Guy Roofing 7-day forecast showing temperatures well above the normal. Look at the bottom. Our average high should be 58. Our average high should be 80. Our average low is 58. There it is. That is going to be well off script. Feeling more like June going forward. A summer day truly by tomorrow. And then the middle of next week, we have the mid 80s. Once that front clears, we'll be back to the 70s for a cool down and a break from humidity, but not yet over the next 7 days. Majestic?
All right, it's going to be a warm one today. Taking a live look outside, heading out to the lake. I-77 at Lake Norman. This would be a good place to be today. You can see traffic is flowing nice and smoothly as we're taking a look at that camera there. But you know how it goes. Now that we're in the 8 o'clock hour, we're starting to see more significant slowdowns along I-77, I-85. If you're heading right towards the uptown area, we do have ongoing accidents, multiple accidents that I want to let you know about. You can see this one here. This has been kind of a trouble spot. We do have some red popping up. It's at Beattyford Road. There's a crash at Mount Holly and Hunterville's Road. Just to the south of that, another one at the Brookshire Boulevard. There's a crash at Pleasant Grove Road. Seeing some medium impacts there. And then, of course, today is a PGA Championship that is already started. We're seeing those slowdowns on Sharon Road. Glen Eagles Road will be shut down to just pass holder traffic only. And then Quail Hollow Road seeing some medium impacts there. Just take it easy as it's going to be a hot spot this weekend.
Thanks, Majestic. 8:08 now. This morning, property taxes could soon go up, according to Mecklenburg County's proposed 2026 budget. The reason, county officials say they are facing a $29 million budget deficit. This means there will be cuts to a lot of departments, especially nonprofits. As for the property taxes, the increase would be about a $36 increase each year for the average home price. Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools, however, will not face any cuts.
Well, the community has repeatedly told us their number one priority is education. So whether you look at MEC Pre-K, whether you're looking at K-12 or CPCC, that's the number one priority.
There will be a public hearing next Wednesday, May 21st. The county hopes to adopt a budget by June 3rd.
Ahead of that budget meeting, there was a moment of silence following the death of Rusty Rozelle. He was the longtime manager of the Mecklenburg County Water Quality Program. The county manager described his death as unexpected and says he's going to be missed. His family history here in Charlotte dates back over 200 years ago when they first settled in the area. His family, the namesake for Roselle's Ferry Road, and yes, honors the family history of running a ferry across the Catawba River starting back in 1860. Wow. Charlotte's Jewish community grieving this morning after the loss of Irving Beanstock. He was a Holocaust survivor, World War II vet, and prominent member of the community here. He died Monday at the age of 98. Born in Dortmund, Germany, he escaped Nazi Germany, reuniting with his family here in the States. He and his wife Lillian settled in the Charlotte area in 1975 and been a staple in the community ever since, including taking part in the Levine Jewish Community Center's Butterfly Project.
After signing deals in Qatar, President Trump will make his way to the United Arab Emirates later this morning for the last stop in his Middle East trip. The president looking to use his influence in other parts of the region and in foreign conflicts. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
President Trump visiting troops in Qatar at the largest U.S. military base in the Middle East.
America's military will soon be bigger, better, stronger, and more powerful than ever before.
It follows a meeting with business leaders earlier this morning.
I can tell you that our country is hot. It's hot as a pistol.
On Wednesday, a deal announced for Qatar to buy up to 210 Boeing jets from the U.S., a new record and part of what the White House says is a broader $243 billion in new Qatari investment in the U.S.
We have the best equipment anywhere in the world. You're buying a lot of that equipment, actually.
That as Qatar's prime minister dismissed the controversy over President Trump's plan to accept a gifted luxury jet to be used as Air Force One.
This is a very simple government-to-government dealing.
The plane expected to transfer to the Trump Presidential Library at the end of his term. Lawmakers in both parties raising serious concerns about accepting a $400 million foreign gift.
I can think of a lot of other things Qatar could do for us, like, for example, quit harboring Islamic jihadist terrorists who are trying to kill Americans.
President Trump headed today for the United Arab Emirates, the final leg of his Middle Eastern trip that's included efforts to push Iran toward a nuclear deal. A top advisor to Iran's supreme leader telling NBC's Richard Engel Iran is willing to commit to never having a nuclear weapon in order to lift crippling sanctions.
Yes, we are ready.
All as some of President Trump's top aides traveled to Turkey for direct peace talks between Moscow and Kyiv, aimed at ending Russia's war on Ukraine. There had been hopes that Russia and Ukraine's presidents, along with President Trump, would all join the talks in Turkey, but those appear dashed by Russia sending a lower-level delegation than anticipated. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
In North Carolina, lawmakers are moving forward with a bill giving a 2-year grace period to renew your driver's license after it expires. That bill is now headed to the House floor. Lawmakers hope it will help drivers struggling with ongoing problems at the DMV, including backlogs and service delays. WCNC Charlotte's Caitlin Hagwood reports.
Some relief could be in store for drivers needing to renew their license in North Carolina. House Bill 821 clearing a major hurdle this week as lawmakers seek solutions to the state's DMV backlog.
The point of it is to simply relieve the North Carolina public from the concerns they have about being unable to renew their driver's license.
Speaking at a committee meeting last month, Catawba County Representative Jay Adams, who sponsored the bill, advocated for its passing. He says it would provide drivers an extra 2 years to renew their expired licenses while also seeking solutions to delays and staffing shortages. But lawmakers warn the grace period comes with potential pitfalls, as driving with an expired license in other states could still result in a ticket or even create problems when renting a car. Concerns mirrored by the DMV, which said in a statement that while they have not taken a position on the bill, quote, this bill does nothing to alleviate the need for a valid license for a number of other transactions, such as banking, vehicle rentals, alcohol or pharmacy purchases, and even changing vehicle registrations in person. Despite these challenges, Adams expressed hope the new DMV commissioner will get the agency back on track.
It does not solve all of the issues that might be attendant with having your driver's license active. And so I'm really looking at the committee, and I'm asking for your assistance in understanding the problem we have here, the concerns that the public has, and how does DMV catch up?
Caitlin Hagwood reporting there. You need a current driver's license.
Yeah, even if they forgive you, even if the DMV forgives you for a variety of other reasons, if you have a non-current driver's license, you're going to be caught either at the airport or at the bank or somewhere.
Rental car,
exactly.
Pharmacy. Yeah. Well, speaking of the DMV, it's been a little over a week since the Real ID law went into effect. Many people still trying to get that Real ID. The Department of Homeland Security says about 81% of travelers now have a Real ID.
And the North Carolina DMV says about 5 million people have theirs now. We're going to get to what you're seeing right now on your screen in just a second, because that doesn't make any sense without any context. But first, what that has to do with Lisa. one of the newest of the 5 million to get hers. You just went yesterday.
I did. It's official. I'm here in North Carolina. I had an appointment for 8:15, right? It's 8:15 now. I was 25 minutes early. That's why I wasn't with you on streaming yesterday. A152, it took 2 hours. So what you were seeing was
That's
the
A152.
text message I received. Sorry for your wait. You'll be called as soon as possible. That was 2 hours.
So you were 25 minutes early.
25 minutes
and
early.
you had an appointment. You were not
had an appointment.
You were not a walk-in.
I was not a walk-in. In fact, it was kind of nice to be able to walk around that long line of people waiting outside in the rain. Those were those who didn't have an appointment. Then finally, about 2 hours later, that's when I got them. Please proceed to Station 6. Bobby was working at Station 6.
Bobby took care of you.
Very friendly. We talked sports and other things while he was taking care of me there. And so I got the real ID, but it wasn't. I thought I was going to get a real ID. I got that. It's the paper. It's my 60-day temporary driving certificate.
That's disappointing.
A little bit.
But you got it.
I got it. So I guess in, I don't know, 8 to 10 weeks, I'm going to get my real ID in the
ahead of me.
Which is so funny because you told me about logging on to get an appointment.
And you somehow got an appointment before I did.
You. Yeah.
I know. Somebody who's already got his real ID as well. Chris Mulcahy. I mean, this is I don't want to say surprising. That's not fair to you, but it's surprising.
No, it's very surprising. You see those two at the desk, and then you have this mess that's had his for months. Like, what's going on in the world? And I didn't even have an appointment. I just was able to walk in. I really lucked out. But anyways, we're looking, not to make you feel jealous. Over the last 7 days, look where our temperatures have been. Anything in the blue is representing a below normal day. Anything in the red is an above average one. And those temperatures have been really all over the place. Yesterday we hit 80 degrees. That's still just shy or around where we should be for this time of the year. But now we're finally starting to really jump up our temperatures. Today I have 86 for a high. Tomorrow I have 89, 88 on Saturday. The warmest we've been so far this year is 88 degrees. That was back on April 5th. The beginning of April was actually the warmest start in April history, and April in general was the warmest April in Charlotte history. And we did touch 86 on May 2nd, but we're back in action. The reason why I'm really showing you the past data to now is it's really about perspective, because since we've been so cool recently, we've had some rain cool days. When you jump up to 90 really quick and also you return that mugginess, it's a shock and awe of the system. I just don't want you to overexert yourself. These are kind of the sneaky days that people get heat exhaustion because you don't really think about it, which is going to be, I think, the only concern that we have for your Friday, because rain looks like it is going to hold off, which is good news for the tournament. For our first 90-degree climatology, and our record keeping for Charlotte dates back to 1878. I went through the data because I clearly have too much time on my hands, and 53% of all the first 90-degree temperatures happened during the month of May. It's very rare to do it as early as March and July, so it's usually in that May to June time frame. And actually, in recent years, we've done it more in June. It was back in 2022 that we hit it on May 19th. Which, by the way, is the average first 90-degree temperature that we usually have. So Friday's very close. The only reason why I don't have 90 here is because it looks like it's going to be an overcast to a mostly cloudy day. If it's, say, even more mostly cloudy, there's going to be a better chance of more sunshine to warm us up just enough to hit that 90 mark. But right now, I think it's kind of a close enough. But I still think it's going to feel like it's in the lower 90s. This is the top. Then after that, we start to return to the norm and back below, because we should be around 80 degrees like where we were yesterday. Instead, we're going to return to the 70s by next Friday, heading into Saturday, and that could be influenced by some rain and at least a passing front. Our lows also very mild as well, either side of 70 degrees, and then hanging out mainly in the 60s. The best chance for rain, already I'm looking at a likely chance for rain on Wednesday. Whenever you kind of have a warm and humid environment and a cold front smacks into it, that's always going to be your best chance and your best potential. So let's go through our rain chances. It's cloudier on Friday. I'm not saying it's not going to rain. I just think that it's not as likely. It's really north of I-40 that has the best chance during your Friday afternoon. We could say it again during the evening. There is a chance it could slip a little bit further to the south. We just don't really have the right atmospheric conditions that's stack up for this. What I think it's really interesting is you're going to have a leftover severe weather system that rolls in. This happens all the time, especially this time of year, that sometimes it's so strong and the winds internally are driving these so fast that they have enough energy to pass the mountains. Now, usually heading into the more stable part of the day, they start to die out, but I just want everyone to know that you could wake up to a wet start on Saturday. It's also a little bit cloudier because of this, and then we clear out, and I think Saturday actually turns out to be pretty decent. Still another warm and humid day, picking up more clouds through the afternoon, and even though our futurecast doesn't show it, I do think you have a chance for a pop-up shower or thunderstorm really by the early evening hours. So another review for our Guy Roofing 7-day forecast. We can see temperatures warming up really nicely to around that 80-degree point. Nope, that 7-day skipped. 86 degrees. Let's recap today instead. 6 degrees warmer than yesterday, but just take my word for it, mainly in the 80s for the foreseeable future. Majestic?
All right, everyone. Good Thursday morning to you. Area roadways are much better today compared to the last few days because, well, we aren't seeing that widespread and heavy rain and those thunderstorms like we've been dealing with over the last few days. Now, live look outside. You can see it is beautiful outside, and of course, traffic is really starting to pick up. Love this live shot here, I-77 at Lake Norman. Now, as you're heading out the door, a few things you'll want to know. You can still see our typical watch spots. I-77 up and down. It's seeing a lot of red. That's stop-and-go traffic. And then I-85 from Gastonia over towards Belmont, heading towards the uptown area. Starting to see more accidents pop up. We're going to highlight a few of them for you. This one here is on Independence. There's a crash at the Causeway Drive area, so seeing some medium impacts with that one. And then just off to the west of it at Highway 51, there's a crash at Park Cedar Drive. Not too concerned about that. But of course, today's the day, the PGA Championship. It is ongoing. And yes, we do have that purple indicating that Glen Eagles Road is going to be shut down. But besides that, Sharon Road is already starting to see those big impacts there. Lots of red and orange. So overall, just be ready for a lot of congestion this weekend across Quail Hollow Club.
It's time for On This Day in History. We go back to the year 1940, and Richard and Maurice McDonald opened a burger restaurant in San Bernardino, California. It became the beginning of what we know as McDonald's. This is the original restaurant. They sold hamburgers there. McDonald Brothers sold them for 15 cents. And of course, this is the way it looks today. By the way, the year 1955, Ray Kroc bought the idea and put into effect the Golden Arches as we know it today. But that's On This Day in History, the beginning of what we know as McDonald's. I'm Larry Sprinkle.
Well, prices for many goods are being impacted by tariffs. Coffee experts say current price increases are tied to extreme weather in South America.
Christian Harza has more on why you may be feeling priced out of that cup of coffee.
There are a few things people like more than a good cup of coffee. And coffee is getting more expensive.
This time last year, we were paying green price in the $2.20 per pound, and now we're paying over $4 a pound.
Roasters like founder of Coffee Hound Coffee Company, Chris Keegan, import coffee beans from many places.
Java, Sumatra, Ethiopia.
And Brazil, the world's largest coffee producer.
So if Brazil has a down, it doesn't matter if everybody is up 100%. It's still going to follow the Brazil prices.
Last year, Brazil went through a drought, causing coffee prices to boil to a 50-year high.
Unfortunately, our hands are kind of tied.
Wayne Johnson of Chimera Coffee in Bangor says his business's focus is to ground potential coffee price hikes.
Just look at how can we generate income other ways across the board.
Such as a canister membership program to sell ground coffee in bulk at a discount.
So it's $1 an ounce versus, our retail bags are normally $1.25 plus.
Those refillable containers also cut down on packaging expenses that are expected to increase due to tariffs.
I don't know if I should put in an order for bags that are coming from Taiwan.
A one-man operation, owner of Blind Tiger Coffee, Charlie Biondo, says the costs are adding up.
It's harder to compete with larger roasters that can buy more and get better discounts on volume.
Biondo says he'd like to focus more on the coffee rather than being steeped in spreadsheets.
I like the old way better.
The first reports of Brazil's coffee harvest come out in July, marking the first indication of whether or not coffee could be cheaper in the next year.
Christian Harza reporting. All right, football fans, get excited. The NFL has revealed the full schedule for the upcoming season. That's right. And here's the full slate for the Panthers. They're going to kick things off in Jacksonville with 3 of their first games on the road. Then their first home game going to be September 21st against the Falcons. The Panthers end the season with 2 against the Bucs, with Seattle Seahawks in between. The full schedule is up right here on WCNC Plus.
Okay.
Chris, thoughts?
I think it's a better season than last.
There you go.
I think I had probably the best draft that I've seen since I've been here in Charlotte. So that's 7 years worth of drafts. So that's good news. Bryce, I think, is finally starting to click. And I think if Bryce Young does well this year, it'll be one of the greatest sports comebacks of all time, because everyone pretty much wrote him off. They're like, are they going to trade him? And at the end of last season, the quarterback whisperer, as their coach is called, really kind of came to fruition. And he finally has weapons this year, because Bryce oftentimes would throw right in the breadbasket and would just bounce out. Now he has some quality receivers.
I was going to say, because the talk we've heard is that get him some help, and we think that with this draft picks, that he has what he needs.
The dynamic will be right now.
I want to go to the game whether they're good or not.
Fingers
I think you
especially
should.
if they have other teams coming to town, like Seattle Seahawks. I'm from Washington. I'll go to that. Dallas Cowboys. Why not?
Why not? It's going to be a nightmare expensive, by the way. Yeah, Dallas Cowboys are always upcharged. So the Seahawks will be cheaper, so go to that one.
Okay.
All right. Live pictures right now over Uptown as we take a quick break. I'm going to have another check of your forecast and traffic coming your way in just about 30 seconds right here on WCNC Plus. Then we're back with the headlines at 8:30.
Well, today not going to be a bad one. We're looking at a high right around 86 degrees. That is 6 degrees warmer than what we had yesterday. Right now, beautiful, nice mix of clouds and sunshine, and we'll pick up more clouds, turning partly sunny a little bit later on in the afternoon. Just note, it'll also feel more humid today, so 84 feels more like 87. And going forward, it's going to feel a lot more humid by tomorrow, as we'll have our warmest feeling day of the year. Still a warm evening out as well. Mixed cloud and sunshine as that sun is setting after 8 o'clock, and still rocking the mid-70s by the late evening hours. Tomorrow, near 90 degrees. What? And there's a slight chance for a little bit of rain. I think all in all, we are staying dry, but it is going to be a cloudier day, so certainly more clouds than sun across our sky. On Saturday, you have some morning rain. We clear that out, and then by the evening, another round of rain's possible, and then looks like it's dry for the back end of the PGA Championship, and not a bad weekend overall for us, just humid. Majestic?
That's right. You're going to need those sunglasses and possibly crank up that AC this weekend with those warm temperatures ahead. Live look outside I-77. It is a gorgeous start to our Thursday morning. As far as our area roadways go, though, we do now have more cars out there, which means your drive times are definitely cranking up. If you're coming in from Gastonia into Charlotte, it's going to take you about 45 minutes to get there. From Waxhaw to Charlotte, about 60. And you can see our typical red spots on our map. That's where we are watching several accidents. We're going to be going over them all this morning on WCNC Plus. We'll see you then.
streaming live on WCNC Plus at 8:30 on this Thursday. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. Right now, the PGA Championship getting underway at Quail Hollow, and the tournament bringing more than just world-class golf to Charlotte this week. Local businesses also seeing a significant boost.
Our PGA team coverage continues now with WCNC Charlotte's Miles Harris. And Miles, just how much do these tournaments benefit and help the local businesses?
Well, the tournament helps these businesses in such a major way, right? Brings in a lot of those tourists, obviously helps get that merchandise off those racks as well. But beyond just the business aspect of it, though, guys, I mean, we got to talk about how good the greens and really the whole layout of the tournament looks. And to talk with us more about the impact of this, we have Keith Wood, the director of the grounds and the greens out here in the tournament. First of all, good morning, Keith. But also talk to us, man. I mean, how much work goes into making sure that this tournament looks as perfect as it does like today?
Well, thanks for having me, Miles. But years and years go into planning to host these major championships. And while we do host championship golf quite frequently here in Charlotte, the PGA Championship is one of the majors on the golfing schedule, and the scale of this tournament is so large that it just takes lots of planning, lots of coordination from many people to pull this thing off.
And I mean, so far it looks absolutely amazing. We got to go ahead and say that for you, though, too. But obviously there's been a little bit of a challenge with making sure that this looks well. We're talking about that weather, the rain that we saw on the days leading into today. And you guys have a specific system, right? Like a sub-air system that works on the ground. So you're going to talk to us about how that's been able to really help you guys get into today.
Yeah, it's never good when Brad Panovich says, get ready for soaking rains over a period of days. And that had me kind of worried there, to be honest with you, Miles. But we made it through. The sun's out. I can see my shadow. So hopefully the weather dries up for us. But and speaking to the sub-air, what the sub-air does on the greens, it's a fan that works underneath the greens, and it helps draw moisture out of the surface. And not only helping to draw the moisture out, but draw oxygen in. So when you talk about plants, their roots respire. In order to have a healthy root zone, in order for the plant to be able to take the stress that it endures in a major championship golf tournament, being mown 4 times a day, being rolled constantly, having 156 players trample across it, you need to have a very healthy root zone, and that's what the sub-air does for us. It really helps those roots be able to support the shoots, and that way we can have a good putting greens.
Is there one hole in particular that was maybe needed a little bit more work than the others?
No, all 18 holes have the sub-air system underneath them, including our practice greens, so that way they're consistent from one to another. That's another important thing with major championship golf. You don't want one hole playing a certain way and another hole playing another. So for us, consistency is key, and we use them on all our putting surfaces in unison.
Is there one hole in particular that you like to work on most, or that gives you like the best visual for this tournament, would you say?
Oh, my favorite hole now, if you're asking my favorite hole to watch golf or to play, is the 14th out here. It's a short par 4. It gives plenty risk-reward options. You can go for the green, or you can lay up, and we're going to see that this week. I think the setup officials are going to give the pros the opportunity to go for birdie, and if they're not successful, they'll probably end up with a bogey.
Okay, but good news though, no really after effects when it came to that rain that we saw kind of lingering into the play this week or this weekend.
Well, the course drains really well. I mean, sure, we definitely need some sunlight, and if the wind would blow a little bit, that would help firm things up. It's not going to play as firm as we want, but the surfaces are good, and they're playing the ball down, which means when the ball hits the fairway, they're not able to put their hands on it, and they have to play it where it lies, which is a big feather in our cap, and that's the way we want it.
And we talked about it though too. I mean, having this tournament here in Charlotte just has to have so much meaning for you and your team, being able to get this off and running though too. So needless to say, you're excited.
Oh yeah, we're very excited, and we're a little exhausted, but we're waiting for Sunday to come and see that champion get crowned, and all this hard work is going to be worth it for everybody.
Keith, thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate it. Good luck to you guys the rest of the week as well. But guys, a lot of work being put into this tournament. Looking forward to seeing the impact. Ben and Lisa?
Miles, you go.
Yeah, I was going to say, so give us, I know you're tethered where you are, but give us a quick tour of what's around you and the things around you there at Quail Hollow.
Yeah, we're actually at one of the learning centers right now. We're actually going to take the camera off. Keith, if you don't mind walking us through what we have here right in front of us at this course right here. Oh, there we go.
Great, yeah, so what we're looking at here is a practice putting green, and then our short game area for chipping, for the pros to practice chipping, and you can't see it, but on down the hill there we have another chipping green where they practice their bunker shots.
How early have you seen golfers come out here and use this part of the course?
Oh, they get here about 6 a.m. Yeah, they're chipping and putting. These professionals, they have a certain routine where they do physio. They may come out and warm up putting. They go do physio. They go to the range. They get warmed up there, and then out to the golf course. I mean, the first tee time's 7:06.
So when that happens, I mean, how early is your team out here working on this?
Yeah, we get here about 3 and we hit the ground about 4 o'clock.
It's a long day.
It's a long day.
A long day, long week, but it's all working off for you guys. I mean, hopefully, right? So
yeah, it's a major championship. We do what we need to do. We're going to provide the best conditions possible, and we're going to have a great champion at the end of the day.
We love to hear that. We love to hear that. Keith, again, thank you so much, guys.
Just
welcome. Giving you guys a bit of an idea, though, too. A lot of work, but everything looks good out here right now, Ben and Lisa.
It does indeed, and glad to see some sunshine.
You have a question?
I do have a question. I was wondering if you could ask him, has he had to increase his team? I mean, this is major. You got the PGA Championship. Can you ask Keith, has he had to add more team members, change their hours of working because of this event?
Oh, Keith, come back over here. So we got one more question here. As far as the adjustments for your guys' team, did you guys have to add anybody else with your guys' staff getting ready for this tournament, too?
Oh, absolutely. So we have a team of about 130 greenskeepers right now. And that comes from volunteers from all over the world. There's 17 countries representative. There's 22 former employees who are now superintendents throughout the country, and 55 folks from area golf courses who just want to be part of something special and help with this major championship.
All those hands, right? A lot of work, guys. A lot of work, and that's giving us an idea of really how much it takes to kind of get this stuff off and running into the way it looks right now. Right?
Yeah, and that's just the golf course. That's just preparing the golf course and taking care of the grounds. When you talk about the total scale of the number of people who are working here, and I don't even have that number, but the operations, when you go into the hospitality, the people who are making the food, delivering the food, and then the emergency services. I mean, there's a lot of people out here, and it takes a lot of people to pull this off.
It takes a village. That's what they say, right?
It takes a village. Yes, indeed, Miles.
Keith, thank you, man. I appreciate it, guys. A lot of work there, but again, we're seeing a lot of people make their way out here and looking forward to seeing some exciting golf this weekend in Charlotte.
All right.
We're done now. We'll leave you alone. You can go enjoy yourself there, Miles. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Miles.
I got to go.
Wait,
Chris,
Miles, I have one more question.
You.
I'm joking.
We're not done with you. Tell us about this forecast for today.
All right, sorry for interrupting. It's just that mild is the hot take this morning. We are looking at a great forecast. I love what's going on here. Either side is 70, and then high temperatures lower to the mid 80s. And I think you're going to see more clouds to end the day, but this is a great golfing forecast. I know that it's 8 o'clock, but I set this for 7 o'clock because that's where we had the first tee time for the tournament. It's going to be great. Thank goodness it lined this way. Imagine if the start of the tournament was like Monday, wouldn't happen because they didn't even want fans to even be out on the course. We also had a chance to dry out yesterday. Already up to 70 degrees here in Charlotte. Well, we barely dropped down into the upper 60s today, so that's the reason why. 72 in Lancaster, and then we're still getting rid of some of that dense fog around I-40. So once we get rid of that, temperatures warm up in a hurry around Hickory and for you in Morganton, where it's been a tough visibility from place to place. Statesville, not excluding you. I was just saving you for the best for last. Your visibility down to a 0. It's been awful as far as that fog goes. Whenever you have a calm wind, a clear sky, and moisture, add that together. That's the perfect recipe for some fog. That's also where we had the heavier rain over the last 24 hours. Barely saw any across Mecklenburg County, but some of us got nipped by a shower heading into the evening. High temperatures also a lot warmer today. 86 in Charlotte, 89 in Chirac, 84 in Hickory, 78 in Boone. Today is going to be fantastic. Just more clouds throughout the day. A lot warmer though, and feeling that moisture surrounding you. Our satellite and radar, we see storms to the east. None here. Today is a rain-free day. I'm not worried about any pop-up shower or storm. We don't have the right lifting mechanism, and that's just a fancy term for a front or a trough driving up that heat and humidity. Tomorrow comes a little bit closer, but I don't think we're quite going to see that. More clouds to end the day, as I mentioned, seeing that deck of clouds start to evolve. So a partly sunny to a mostly cloudy evening is going to be possible from place to place. And by tomorrow morning, there is a chance for rain, but hear me out. I think this is going to be fairly light, could have some fog embedded in here as well, but a very light rain to start off your morning. And then any chance for a shower or storm, I think, is mainly along the Virginia border, north of I-40. We're seeing pulses of showers and storms as the front is a little bit close to that. But I think the main event that we see for rain for your Friday will actually be Friday night. Still rain again north of the city. Charlotte likely not seeing it. Mostly cloudy skies throughout. So overnight tonight, temperatures dropping down into the upper 60s. That means we're mainly rocking the lower 70s. We even have a slight heat index overnight. So if that doesn't say anything, because tomorrow 89 feels more like the lower 90s. This will be the hottest day of the year. We've only hit 88 so far, and if you factor in that higher mugginess, that's close to that 70-degree point. That's very uncomfortable. We're going to be feeling actually more like the lower 90s. We're holding that status today, Friday and Saturday. It feels a little bit more comfortable come Sunday. So here's your real feel throughout the day on Friday, hour by hour. Already feeling like 85 come 10 a.m., feeling like 92 and 1 p.m., and then back to 90 come 6 p.m. So I don't want people to overexert themselves. Kind of keep that in mind. Coming up, we're going to talk a little bit more about our best chance for rain over the weekend. We're also going to take a deep dive why that's happening and your Guy Roofing 7-Day. But first, Majestic, what's going on?
It's beautiful outside. Take a look at your TV screen. We have nothing but blue skies and sunshine overlooking the beautiful Charlotte skyline here. You can see traffic is really starting to pick up, though. Just that time of the day, we actually don't have an accident there. Just a lot of people heading in the same direction. But we do still have some significant slowdowns. Our typical watch spots, I-77, I-85, we're really seeing it there. But once we add in the icons, you can see we have multiple accidents that are ongoing. We'll talk about 2 or 3 that are going to be impactful for you this morning. At Wilkinson Boulevard, there's a crash at Camp Green Street. We're seeing slow to medium moving traffic there. And then another one on Independence Boulevard. There's a crash at Causeway Drive. Want to highlight this one because it just popped up. Continental Boulevard, there's a crash at Granite Street. And I'm noticing all the red right there on our live traffic maps, really just indicating that stop and go traffic. And of course, the PGA Championship, it is ongoing. Lots of people heading out there. So make sure you're just mindful that the roads are going to be packed, especially this purple one here. Glen Eagles Road between Park Road and Quail Hollow Road will be restricted to pass holders traffic only. But you can notice Park Road is already starting to really pick up in intensity, and it looks like there's just an accident that popped up. So when I see you right back here, we'll go over what's going on there.
Majestic, thanks. Happening today, Charlotte City Council is going to take the next step to fill its open council seat. City leaders are hosting a candidate forum today for those applicants.
The District 6 seat was left empty after former council member Tark Bokhari stepped down to begin a role in the Trump administration. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane is live for us this morning with what we can expect ahead of today's forum. We hear the train there. Good morning to you, Richard.
Good morning to you, Lisa. Good morning, Ben. Good Thursday morning, everyone. As the train passes, transportation, that's something that a lot of the city council members will be paying attention to today when they speak to those candidates in that forum. They want to know how they feel about transportation because that is a very important issue that will be facing whoever takes over in District 6 for that interim period. Now, Charlotte leaders are moving quickly to fill that vacant District 6 seat, they'd say. That's the one that's left by Tark Bokhari's departure. His new role as Deputy Administration of the Federal Transit Administration comes as Charlotte pushes forward on its ambitious Red Line project. His influence could help speed up stalled state legislation needed to fund that project, with hopes of getting it on the November 2025 ballot. As for his replacement, one of the most talked about names, his wife, Krista, a recent state house candidate who overperformed in a tough race against Democrat Brandon Lofton, who actually won that seat. At his final town hall, Bokhari publicly backed his wife's possible candidacy. Council members have said they want a short-term caretaker, not someone eyeing a November run because they feel it would give them a leg up in the upcoming election.
Hopefully that we will select a caretaker that will not run and make that pledge not to run. And if that person breaks their word, it speaks to character.
Yeah, but it's important to note that other candidates have been appointed to roles to fulfill a term and they have run before in the past, including our Democratic mayor once, Clotfelter, as Ben remembers, when he replaced Cannon. He did actually run again, even though he said he was probably not going to run when he was appointed to that position. Now, this meeting takes place today at 2, and we'll have what happens and some of the questions that are asked of those candidates coming up. Guys?
And we heard them saying that they're looking for a caretaker, but as you said, it doesn't have to be the case that you aren't on the ballot in November. Do we know if they're looking for anything specific for whoever is going to be in this position, at least through the temporary time?
Yeah, we do know it's going to be a Republican, and we know it's someone who's eligible to vote or over 21. Also, they're saying that they want somebody who best represents the city of Charlotte, but most importantly, that District 6 and those constituents looking out for their needs. And that's what they're going to be looking for as they ask questions of each of those people who are vying for that seat.
Richard Devane, thanks so much for that. I'm not sure if we're able to bring Ben, and I know you've covered politics in the city for quite some time. Richard, thanks so much for that. So it's going to be interesting because they are going to be having that forum today, and then they are going to appoint someone to that position. All right, continuing on. It has been more than 2.5 years since 25-year-old Shanquella Robinson died while in Cabo, Mexico. This morning, her family is still fighting for answers. WCNC Charlotte's Jesse Pierre was in the courtroom Wednesday as a federal judge heard new arguments, including some asking for the case to be heard back in Mexico.
A United States citizen should not be allowed to go overseas, harm another, or be involved in harm with another United States citizen and come back to the United States and essentially say that they're on base, that they're not going to be held liable, accountable, or responsible.
Shanquella Robinson died in Mexico in 2022. At first, friends told her family it was alcohol poisoning, but then a video surfaced showing Shanquella being violently beaten on the trip. Now her mother is suing the FBI, the U.S. Department of State, and the 6 people who were on the trip. Attorneys for the travel mates want the lawsuit thrown out, but argue if it is heard, Mexico is the proper place to handle the case because that's where the incident happened, where the key evidence is, and where 24 other witnesses are, like the medical professionals and the law enforcement who handled the case. But Sue-Ann Robinson, who represents Shanquella's estate, strongly disagrees, saying the conspiracy and cover-up into Shanquella's death happened here in the U.S.
The convenient forum would be the forum in which all 6 of the individuals who were present in the room when the crime occurred, for them to be heard and give their testimony and have their day in court here.
She also raised concerns about a trial in Mexico with a language barrier and navigating the justice system there.
The Mexican civil litigation system is completely different. There's no jurors.
Attorneys for the travel mates declined to say much outside of the courtroom.
We have no comment at this time.
No comment.
Meanwhile, Shanquella Robinson's father, who was in the courtroom, says he is not giving up.
Only thing I can do is stand for Shanquella and talk. Be her mouth, be her voice, because she didn't deserve this at all.
That was Jesse Pierre reporting. We are still waiting for a final decision from the judge this morning. We'll be watching out for that ruling, and we'll bring you the latest as we learn more.
We've seen some intense storms in our area in the past week, and as we speak, parts of the country are bracing for more severe weather this week.
As many face flooding and evacuations on the East Coast, temperatures are soaring in the South with record heat in some areas. NBC's Ryan Chandler is in Dallas with more.
A dangerous dome of oppressive heat, scorching Texas ahead of schedule.
Heat can be extremely dangerous, especially if you don't prepare ahead of time.
At this Dallas EMS station, first responders are preparing for weather's most common killer.
We kind of keep an eye out for younger children, elderly adults.
We're used to the heat in Texas, just not this early. This is an unusual heat wave, giving many areas their first triple digits of the year.
And it's not just in Texas.
This heat is just awful.
Dry heat fueling wildfires in Minnesota. More than 33,000 acres have burned.
It's just too hot, too dry, too much wind.
But as parts of the country bake, the East Coast is getting drenched. From D.C. to New York, some of the country's busiest airports are facing delays because of thunderstorms and rain. It follows major flooding in Virginia. Fire rescue teams said they believed they found the body of 12-year-old Jordan Sims, who was washed away in rushing water Tuesday.
Obviously, this is a very tragic situation.
In Maryland, flash flooding forced evacuations. Water rushing up to the second story of this elementary school. Children carried through the water, rescued on boats. Scientists say extreme deadly weather is becoming more common.
Both of these, extreme heat events and heavy downpours, are precisely the two kinds of extreme weather phenomena that are most clearly linked to climate change.
A link scientists warn could make major weather events more severe. Ryan Chandler, NBC News, Dallas.
Well, I actually just wanted to give you a brand new update. So it's on Thursdays that we have our drought monitor that's released. Now, the previous numbers that we had, it was about 84% of North Carolina was under a dry status. About 90% of South Carolina was under this status as well. Well, you can see now a new improved map. So I want to show you how much changes. Check this out. So they just dropped this minutes ago. This was May 7th. This is before we had all of our recent rains over the last week. Notice that most of our area was under a moderate drought. Well, watch what happened for the most recent drought update. Look at how much improved. Now, we still have a long ways to go right along the North Carolina and South Carolina shoreline, but looking at some of the quick numbers, because all this just dropped, we've now decreased our at least dry status by 13%. Now our drought status, we only now have 12.5% of North Carolina under some sort of drought, and the severe drought, instead of 7%, is now down to 1% of the state. And as for North Carolina, the stats that just came through, again, I'm just reading this because it just came through not too long ago. That's about a 37% decrease from all the dry conditions. And our moderate drought, because there's more than half the state that at least had the official drought status, that's now down to 15%. So this is a huge update compared to what we had before. So I'm super excited to say that now we can say less than half of North Carolina is under a drought. And I can even say almost just nearly half of the state is just at a dry status. So a nice little update compared to where we have been. So good news there. We still do need more rain, but we're not going to see any right away. But I do want to get to our next rain chance that's going to be going forward. That is going to be heading into the weekend, and it's not going to be a widespread one. So for the weekend, we are looking at a chance for rain. I would say really more so on Saturday morning. Outside of that, we don't really have a lot going on. Here's what's happening. Let's start with Friday. Friday, I think overall is going to be a mostly cloudy day. That's why I have 89 degrees compared to 90, because we have mainly an overcast to a mostly cloudy sky. And then we could even see a few breaks in the clouds. If that happens, better chance at that 90-degree point. If you see storms, it should be right along the Virginia border, so north of I-40 Statesville. I think you are the nearest destination around Taylorsville that could see this. But it looks like we could have a leftover system that is likely going to have a history of producing severe weather northwest of us. But it'll lose its severe weather criteria once it gets into our area. This happens all the time. Sometimes it holds together. It survives passing over the mountains, and that'll leave us with some leftover light to moderate rain to begin your Saturday. That's looking to be the likely scenario. I think it'll start to dissipate slightly, and then we'll be dealing with some leftover clouds and then a sunnier afternoon, picking up more clouds developing through the day with another chance for rain by the evening. So some good news there. Not a lot of rain, mostly up in the mountains. Majestic?
Well, if you are heading out to Quail Hollow, we actually had an accident that just popped up. This area is already very difficult to travel in right now, but there's an ongoing accident on Sharon Road and Park Road where they come together, so that is now slowing down traffic even more. You'll want to be mindful of that if you're already planning on heading out that direction today for the PGA Championship. Other than that, we have another ongoing crash near Winding Oak Drive at the intersection of that and Highway 16. As you're heading out the door, just be mindful that it is beautiful. We do have a lot of sunshine out there, so grab those sunglasses, slow it down, and we'll have another update coming up in a few.
Well, if you've been pushing your spring cleaning off, one Vermont-based DJ is making a playlist to help you complete your to-do list.
The catch, you still have to clean your house, but you'll have your own personal cheerleader to get you through the heavy lifting. 2, 1. This is Tara Lee Weathers, the DJ dropping beats in living rooms while homeowners clean. At the moment, the one-of-a-kind service lasts for 1 hour. She says it seems to be plenty of time for her clients. Weathers says that she was inspired when she helped a friend put away laundry by just being there in the room. Now she's ready to help you tackle chores by moving and grooving.
Make it fun. Like, I hate cleaning and I hate organizing and I hate all the things, but music makes everything better.
I couldn't think of a better way to be inspired to clean than having great music behind you.
Well, Tara Lee says that she's only done living room shows in Vermont right now. She says she may be willing to travel one day to offer her services. So we're wondering, you guys have a go-to cleaning song?
I'm wondering what's up with her outfit.
I mean, she's just bringing the joy, just to, you know, keep you in the mood for cleaning.
Yeah, I think she found
that
a
what it
job
is?
that she really loves, and it works for her.
Okay.
It'll make butterfly time by, you know? That's what I'm talking about, you know?
It might change every person that she goes to.
We realized our to-go cleaning song would be the same thing.
The same song, which is so wild. We sent them to our producer earlier
Separately.
this morning. Stevie Wonder, Superstition. How could
great.
you not want to clean with that?
Yeah, I think so. I think
Really
so.
good.
I like the remixes that Chris plays every morning when I come into work. It's like I don't even know, what do you call it? It's a mix of multiple things all in
Yeah,
one.
we did hip hop, country, and then also rock, reggae was also on there. One of the band names is actually called Gangsta Grass.
Did you ever know there was such a thing?
Gangster Grass.
That's the band name. Yeah, so it's more of a bluegrass rap.
Every day I come
That
into
is-
work, I don't ever know what to expect, and I love it.
Quite a niche
Yeah,
music
knows?
taste.
it's great cleaning for. I'll send you my playlist.
Okay.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break.
Yes, we are.
You never know what you're going to get at WCNC Plus, so just stay with us all day. We are going to have another update on weather and traffic without the music coming up in about 2 minutes. And then we'll have the day's headlines starting up at 9 o'clock. Our own Jane Monreal, you'll see her right there, is going to take over from our new live Impact News studio. She'll be talking about the PGA Championship at Quail Hollow. Again, that's right here on WCNC Plus.
Well, good morning, everybody. 86 degrees. It's a 6-degree bump from what we had yesterday, and the storm chances null and void. Not happening today. That's what I'm talking about. It's going to be a mild night tonight, only dropping down to around 70 degrees. Slight chance for rain tomorrow morning, but most of us staying dry, and then through the afternoon, just a cloudier sky. Tomorrow is the hottest day of the year, though, and of the week, certainly. Around 90 degrees, feeling like the lower 90s. We'll hold on to that heat by Saturday, mid-80s into next week. Majestic?
It is gorgeous out there this morning. Plenty of sunshine no matter where you're traveling. You can see a live look outside I-77 here. Traffic is definitely starting to pick up. Hey, if you are heading out to Quail Hollow, you're going to want to be mindful of the ongoing congestion, but we do now have an accident that is making it even more difficult. It's between Sharon Road and Park Road. That's where it's really backed up at this point, and of course we'll continue to keep a close eye on that for you. And another crash near Winding Oak Drive in Providence, where we do have stop and go traffic indicated in the red there.